Hello everybody, Pug Nation here with a special treat for all of you. Today I'm going to do a tutorial explaining a very easy way to do vertical item transportation. That's actually what you're looking at right now. But first I would like to address some comments. So Al the Brick Filmer left this comment on my last Pug Nation item transportation system video. I love the idea, but is there a way to do it so you don't have to press a button each time you want items transported? And Mr. Mr. Eerie left a video response with his idea to tackle that problem, and I urge all of you to check that out and check his channel out if you haven't already. So we're going to address those comments first and make a fully automatic item transport system, or click here to skip ahead to vertical item transport. And here it is, very compact. This, my friends, is fully automatic item transportation. Alright, so let's see this magical feat in action. So this is the loading area, and that is the unloading area. This has not changed from the Pug Nation item transportation system version 2. This is the same unloading mechanism that we had before it. This is completely different though. In order to get fully automatic item transport, definitely had to do a few different things. Now let me just demonstrate first of all that it works. Items from here are going to go through the hopper into the storage minecart. When the inventory of this storage minecart reaches a certain threshold, it will power this torch, turning off this piston, retracting it, and allowing the cart to go down to the automatic unload station. So let's see. I'm not sure how long it's going to take because I'm not sure how much inventory is in the cart already. I promise it'll happen. Is the suspense killing you? Is it killing you? It's killing me. Yeah, alright. This is going to take a while, so I'm going to cut the video ahead. But when this is completely emptied, it will automatically be pushed back to be reloaded. Almost there. Oh. Yeah, and there you go. Voila, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Fully automatic item transportation. All you have to do for this system to work is load items into this chest. The rest will happen by itself. So how did I do that? So the unload mechanism I am not going to talk at all about because I already covered this in version 2 of the Pug Nation item transportation system. If you did not see that already, click this link here, which will take you to that video. I definitely urge you to check it out. I didn't really go over a hard tutorial of how to build this thing. If anything is unclear, definitely leave a comment below, and I would love to clarify anything, any issues you may have with the system. Also, if you have problems building this, I go over it in my Let's Play video, and I also show a practical use for it, so definitely check that out if you have not already. Alright, so here is the key concept we are going to be exploiting in this build. It has to do with the inventory detecting abilities of our new block, the Comparator. Now, if you put a chest with a minecart on a track in front of a comparator and fill it up with stuff, nothing happens. It does not detect the inventory at all of just a chest with minecart. The output that is sent out from this repeater is proportional to how full this chest is. So if the chest is, the more full it gets, the longer the signal is projected. So if this chest was completely filled with items, this signal would be strong enough to power all 15 of these blocks. Now 15 of course is the limit to how far redstone can go before you need to add a repeater and lengthen the signal. And with only 5 full stacks in there, you can see we get an output strength of 1, 2, 3. Now, if you put a chest with minecart on a detector rail and then have a comparator hooked up to that, you do get a signal. It does detect the inventory, and that is what we're going to exploit there. You see we have a stack of items in there, and we have started powering the rail. And of course, the more stuff I put in there, the longer the signal is going to be able to be pushed for. And you can kind of see it to the left over there. Do you see that? Okay, so now with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacks in there, you have a signal strength of 4. Awesome. Now, another important thing to note about the detecting abilities, the inventory detecting abilities of comparators, is that it counts the total number of items that you have, not the number of different items you have, or not the number of slots that are taken up in your minecart. So for instance, here we're going to go ahead and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 slots filled up, but it's only 9 items, so it's still only powering it for one length, one block. Now if we add in, let's just say we add in 2 stacks, we're only taking up 2 inventory slots, but there's 128 items there, and it powers it for 2. So that's important to note as well. So let me explain what's going on here first, and then I will build it for you block by block and really break it down for all of you. So the minecart comes whipping in through here, hits this detector rail, which pulls this piston back, allowing the minecart access to this block. And then the timing is such that just as soon as the storage minecart gets to this block, the piston is extended and it's stuck there. So it's held there by this piston. The detector rail is hooked up to this torch, which powers this block, which powers this piston. By default, if nothing was powering this, the piston would be extended, which is the case right now. This torch powers this block, which powers this piston. The minecart going over this detector rail is what flips this inverter, pulling the piston back. Now, this is the simple part of the mechanism. This is where you load your items into this chest. Simply goes through the hopper immediately underneath it and into any containers below the hopper. In this case, our storage minecart. And here is where we are going to exploit the inventory detecting abilities of a detector rail. As you can see, that is a detector rail with a storage minecart on top of it. This is just using what we learned over there. So I have a comparator hooked up to a detector rail, and it travels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks before it goes into this torch. So when the inventory of this storage minecart is sufficient enough, it's strong enough that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks of redstone dust will be powered. It will turn this torch off, pulling the piston back and sending the cart on its way. This is just simply gravity sends the cart out of the station. So I'll demonstrate that for you. I think it's 7. It's like 7.5 stacks. Gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now you can see 7 stacks in that storage minecart is enough to power this 4 blocks. If I put 1 more stack in there, it should push it over. Yep, there we go. And your cart is automatically sent on its way. Awesome! Alright, so let's build the thing. How do we build it? Well, let's build our track going in. Detector rail there. 1, 2, 3. Now we need to start building our structure that goes up. It's 1, 2, 3 blocks across. 1 block up, 2 blocks up. Alright. Now, you need the detector rail to be on a slope. In order to do that, delete this block right here. That's a detector rail. Put a normal track there, and then when you delete this, it will stay in that configuration. put a block there. That'll stop your minecart from flying off the track. And there you go. There's your basic track setup. Now, let's put in the hopper feed system. Whoop. If I could do that. Awesome here showed me that if you hold down left shift, and then you right click on a hopper, you could actually place hoppers on top of each other and into other blocks instead of, otherwise if you just right click on a hopper, you'll go into this inventory screen. I didn't know that, so that's a cool trick. Thank you to Awesome Ear for that. So anyways, put that there. You need to get the chest out. And chest goes on top of your hopper. That's the, whoop. That is the simple, kind of hard to do when you're flying. There you go, there's the simple part. Now, for the important part, your piston. Block goes there. Torch on top of that. Block on top of that. And a piston facing towards me. By default, that piston is extended. Now, we need a comparator. Comparator goes right there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dust in there. Now you could actually change the inventory detecting ability of this by shortening or lengthening this wire. Say you didn't want it automatically sent until it was completely full. Well, there are ways to do that too. You would have to alter the length of this wire or use a pulse shortener, which is another thing you could do with comparators, which I won't go over in this episode. And now simply connect this detector rail to this torch, and there you go. You have a fully functioning, oh look, and that just got switched over. Awesome. You have a fully functioning automatic item transportation system. Alright, let's just give this a push. And it operates as it should, stuck in place by that piston. And let's load it up with a bunch of wool and send it back on its way. I think it's 8 stacks it takes. Yeah, we'll put some black wool in there too. Ding, 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 ding. Well, there you go, guys. Fully automatic item transportation. The only thing you have to do to transport items with this system is load items into this chest. So there's your answer, Al the Brick Filmer, and thank you to Mr. Eerie for leaving a video response. And now let's look at vertical item transportation. Alright, vertical item transportation. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just demonstrate that it works. I have my sound off because all of these droppers are clicking, clicking, clicking. Here, I'll just turn it on for like 1 second so you can hear how annoying it is. Plug your ears. Not that loud. It also makes a wonderful annoyance machine. So let's go ahead and turn that sound off. And I'm going to load items into here. They'll be transported up the top, and I just have them spinning out the top so it demonstrates that it actually does work. Oh yeah, vertical item transportation, nice and compact. How'd I do that? Well, I'm happy to report that this is actually a very simple build. All you have here is a very simple clock. That's simply a redstone circuit that just repeats a signal over and over, short pulses. You could actually shorten the pulse or lengthen the pulse by changing this repeater. You can't have it on 1 because that overloads the circuitry. It has to be on at least a 2-tick delay. It's repeated into this block, and this is simply just vertical transmission up the side. This is the same vertical transmission I use in my Journey to Space video series, which is actually where I got the idea for this, was from playing around with my TNT cannons and that. And I'll just show you how to build this. So we're gonna get, I like using the quartz because it's a nice clean, and it's new, awesome. So this is the clock. This is really the most important, or like the trickiest part of this whole thing, and it's not that tricky at all. So nice and easy build here. Just need a torch. This torch provides power to anything in this block below it. Put a repeater so that this torch feeds power into this block. and put a dust right there, and there you go. There's a very simple redstone clock, just a repeating, pulsing circuit. That's the whole thing. Now I'm going to put a repeater here, feed it into this block, put a redstone dust on there, and now this whole pulsing clock thing is happening here, and we're just going to do some vertical transmission. How do I have it set up here? We're just going to transmit this thing vertically. Let me just build the structure. Ah! Don't do that. How high did I build that one? Obviously, this could be as high as you want. There is no limit to how high you can build this. Except, of course, y equals, what is it, 248, 256? Can't remember, but torch like that. Torch there. Just put a torch in all these little crevices, this little zipper. And that blinking clock is now transmitted vertically up all of these. Alright, now for the magic part. Place your droppers one on top of the other. You can place them on top of each other like this by holding down left shift, jumping, and then right clicking. If you don't do that, otherwise you'll just go into the dropper inventory screen. These have to be droppers, they cannot be dispensers. Droppers have the ability to put items into whatever block is in front of them. A dispenser will simply shoot them out. So if these were dispensers, you would see blocks just like spewing out from this first one. I made that mistake the first time I did this. I had no idea why it wasn't working. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the whole thing. Now if I load my red blocks in here, in no time at all, it'll start spewing out. Oh yeah. Well, the obvious limitation to this is that's as fast as you can possibly get them to spit out. You can get them to spit out slower again by making that pulse a little bit longer. You can actually make it even slower by making that pulse longer. Ooh. Ooh. Pretty awesome. Here's a fun and easy application of the vertical item transportation system that you could use with your wheat farm designs. So these dispensers are all hooked up. They have a water bucket in it, so when I hit this input, it'll spit the water out and it'll funnel all my drops into these dispensers. Into these hoppers. These hoppers are all going to funnel all the drops into this bottom hopper. I can't talk. Into this bottom dropper. Bottom dropper. That's actually kind of funny. Bottom dropper, and it's going to funnel them up to the top and into this chest here. So if you wanted to have, if you wanted to have your harvest room be above your wheat farm, it's very easy to do with this system. I'm going to hit this button and watch it all unfold. There go the drops. They're all going into the hoppers. These hoppers are feeding them through one another into the bottom dropper. And with this system, it is being fed up to the top and into this chest. Now, this all happens pretty slowly, actually, because you're going to have a bottleneck here at the top. Because it can only feed items in so fast. But it does work. It works very well, actually, and really time isn't much of an issue with wheat farms, so that's just a fun application of vertical item transportation. Thanks to all of you for watching this tutorial and my other item transportation system tutorials. Thank you for leaving all your comments. You guys are absolutely wonderful. Leave a like and a comment for this video if you enjoyed this system and the vertical item transportation system that I showed off. Woo! Disco lights! Disco lights! Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all very soon. Oh man, please work. Please work. 12 pumpkin pies. 12 pumpkin pies, please. Yeah! It works! Yes! Oh!